Hello and welcome to this tutorial on lighting in Crayta. I'm going to talk a little bit about the lights and their different properties. The first light I'm going to talk about is this one. This is a point light, so a point light lights a specific area. You can change the color and intensity of this light using the entity editor. So the color changes the color of the light, shocking, I know. You can change it from yellow to blue to purple, or whatever color you like. So it could be a weird color, or it could be something quite realistic and normal. The intensity is how strong the light is. So 4 is quite weak. The lower the number, the less bright the light. So 4 is relatively low. 1 is as low as you can go, really. I mean 0, but that doesn't really, there's no real light there. If you go really bright, you can make it almost difficult to look at. And look, this tiny light, this tiny oil lantern lighting an entire cave. It's almost, when it gets to 100,000, you're looking at kind of nuclear level. So let's drop that down to 4. The exponent is the fall off. So how sharp the edge of the light is. So this is easiest to explain if I crank this intensity up. So you can see at the moment, and I will turn off shadows for now. You can see at the moment it's got quite a soft edge, and in fact the higher this number, the softer the edge. So 10, fairly soft. The lower the number, the more crisp and sharp the edge. So an exponent of 1, you can really see a very, very defined edge. So this is affecting the quality of the light that you are putting in your scene. So let's return that to 4, and a nice exponent. So even at 4, you can see that harsh edge. So a nice exponent for our oil lantern is somewhere around 8. It's nice and soft. I'll turn shadows back on. And finally, a specular. Specular is easiest to see over here with this spotlight. Okay, so you can see on this metal, it's got a kind of like a light shimmer. That's specular. So if I turn off that on this spotlight, if I turn off specular, you can see that the shine has completely gone on this gold monument. Turn it back on and the shine comes back. Notice how specular changes as you move around, because it is the reflection of the light off of that object. So we want to keep specular on when you're looking at gold things and things like that, unless there's lots of lights in your scene. It's really good on mud and things like that too. So anything wet, anything metallic, even things like some kinds of rocks and some kinds of rubber and things like that. If I go back to the point light, the attenuation of the point light is how far that light reaches, which is beautifully visualized by this wire sphere around the outside. So an attenuation of 200 is very small, and you can see that the light only reaches around this kind of table area. I can make that a lot higher, and it will light the entire room. So now this very helpful oil lantern is adding a lot more light to this area. And also you can see the impact of the shadows a lot greater. So this can be really good for adding drama. In fact, I've used this attenuation on this light here. So it's set to about 3000, which means that it's quite bright. And actually the light reaches beyond the wall. It reaches outside. Another thing you're going to want to play around with is the shadows. So at the moment, there's light behind this monument here. So if I click on my spotlight and I tick the shadows button, you can see that light disappears. It's easiest to see if I now enter the game and I run, and you can see it's really added a lot of drama to this scene. So that's it. So that's the some of the lighting properties that you can play around with in Crayta.